This is Glenn Holton at Truly Musical Piano Academy. Well, you're certainly feeling quite autumnal out in the garden here today, so a good time to talk about Chaminade's Automne. I'd like to begin by thanking and paying tribute to my first piano teacher, Howard Morgan, for first introducing me to the music of Chaminade, and this piece in particular. Chaminade was born in Paris in 1857 and died in Monte Carlo in 1944. She didn't come from a musical background, and it was Bizet, no less, who persuaded her parents that she deserved a really good musical education. So she studied piano privately with Le Coupé and composition with Benjamin Godard. In terms of recordings, I think a good place to start would be the Valérie Tryon recording. I really like the way that she welds the different sections of it together into a coherent whole. So, let's get into the tutorial. So in the first section, the melody is in the alto range with pulsating chords above it and a bass line in the left hand. So what I would be working on there is how to keep the weight off the harmony notes and allow the melody to ride through in the middle of the texture without having to be forced out. So one practicing strategy that I would use would be to practice in block chords and try to wait so that the lowest note is prominent and keep the weight off the third, fourth and fifth fingers. It's very difficult to do. It's very much an exercise in listening. And also I would practice the harmony notes on their own with the gentle brushstroke technique, just brushing very lightly against the key, just enough to colour the melody, but avoiding any accents. That passage that we've just heard contains quite a lot of performance direction, so here I'd be working away from the piano quite a lot and working with recordings, reading through the score as I'm listening to it. You've got to be very clear about when you're going to get quicker and when you're going to get louder. Of course, those are not the same thing. And towards the end of that passage, I'd be working on the interpretation of the accents. Here, these are expressive accents, not percussive accents. Chaminade is drawing attention to a particular note but not indicating a percussive effect. That's a very eloquent moment in the piece where the main tune heard at the opening moves into the top part. So there I would be working on getting the weight onto the fourth and fifth fingers, which are going to be playing the melody notes, and keeping the weight off the thumb and the second finger. So again, block chord practice would be very useful there. So leading into the middle section there, you'll notice how I ease into it gradually, enjoying the change of mood, key and colour, but leaving some room for the stringendo 3 bars into it. Too much confuoco too soon leaves you with nowhere to go. The passage lends itself very well to block chord practice, just making sure that all the basic chord positions are really secure. So at the beginning of that passage that we've just heard, what I would be working on there would be the legato octave fingerings, where you get the fourth finger to crawl over the fifth finger. And towards the end of the passage, when you get to the lightning streaks, I would practice in the block chord positions again. To make sure that those are really secure. It's very easy to just get a misplaced note or a note that you don't quite hit cleanly. Usually that's because some tension has built up in the shoulder, but you've got to make sure that you get relaxed at the shoulders, get rid of any tension in the shoulders. It's almost like the very opposite of what the music's telling you to do. You know, you've got to take it back to the physical, relax and release tension from the shoulders. So towards the end of that passage, we have one of the most magical moments in the entire piece, where we hear a statement of the theme, rather recitative-like, in 3 different keys, harmonies, dynamics and colours. So with that, I'd be working with recordings quite a lot to see what different pianists have done with it. But we're not quite done with the storm yet. I think that would be the most technically challenging passage in the whole piece, but keep it in proportion to what's gone before. You know, you don't want it to sound like it's suddenly turned into a Liszt transcendental study or something. Good practicing strategies would be to take out the tenor line there and practice on its own. And practice with the top part. So you get used to practicing it without the moving parts. When you get to the end of the passage on those lightning streaks, practice very slowly with the pedal up, making sure in particular that you're getting the left hand down safely in time. Lateral movement only, don't come high off the keys, and make sure that you're not tensing at the shoulders when you go into that passage. As you go into that recapitulation of the first section, count the rests very carefully there, part of the music. The coda should be very warm, it's unashamed romanticism, so let's hear the ending leading into the coda. Well, the sun's come out again here in the garden after the storm. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, why not check out some of my other videos? And please remember to like, comment and subscribe. See you in the next video.